that's the coupling capacitor, and that will need to be replaced before I want to power this up. Changed a few more capacitors. Changed coupling capacitor. Changed this guy over here. Now this resistor is out of tolerance, but you know, again, it's an access thing, so you know, in order to get to this one, I figured it was easier to replace, you know, to do it while this was out. You know, so basically it leaves us two, this one and this one. So I put a new cord and a new plug on it. A couple of things I'm going to do before I try and power this up. I am going to make sure the light bulbs are good. We'll take a look at those now. So the way that these Zenith light bulbs go, this piece right here is like a pan, and these shine light on the inside, which then backlights the dial. Now you can see what happens here. This has got damaged because the heat from the lamps can damage the dial. Now usually there's supposed to be a little piece of white plastic separating the lamp from the dial face, and that often breaks, and that's probably what happened here. So I can make a replacement piece. It doesn't even have to look nice. It's just something to protect the dial. But in the meantime, let's pull these off, maybe. Come on. Well, this hasn't been off in a while. Yeah, so you can see right here, there's your little piece of plastic. So the right side lamp checks out okay. The left side lamp is burnt out. Now take a look. It is number 44. These are supposed to use a 47. So the 44 draws a little more current. It's a little brighter. Damages the dial a little better. So we're going to swap that out for a 47. Okay, we're going to power this up now, see what it does. Got my meter hooked up to the B plus after the field coil, or this resistor anyway. Got a speaker hooked up to it. I've got the output transformer, of course, is connected. Got it hooked to the dim bulb tester, and the variac is on. So I'm going to go ahead, turn this on, turn this on. Okay, so now let's go to 10 volts. I see the light bulb lighting up a little. Go to 20 volts. Seeing some B plus, this is good. And I'm going to leave it here for a minute. What it should do is go back down. Going up as the tube's warming up. Keeps going up. 99 volts. I'm only 25 volts though. Let's go to 35, 40 volts. Should be going back down. There it goes. Okay. So we're at 40 volts. Why is that light bulb flickering? Bad ground. We're at 55 volts. Usually about 70 is when I start hearing something. 65. 70. Really? Oh, I hear something. Let's go up to 80 volts. Oh.
We'll get down close to freezing, or maybe around 30. For tomorrow, improving weather. Morning clouds give way to some sunshine. It'll be milder in the afternoon with a high about 46, and then mild weather for day, partly sunny skies. 46 once again on Wednesday, up near 50 on Thursday, and the nice weather actually Friday, partly sunny skies. High about 46 once again. We do have a little bit of light rain and drizzle around the city right now, with the temperature about 33 in the park.
Meteorologist Jason Nichols with our forecast.
Okay.
WCBS News Time is 10:50.
Needs to be worked out with doubt. For example, if
I think we have a working radio. This is good. We got a few more capacitors to change. I want to take a look at the tubes. I'm sure they're probably okay if they are functional. I do want to take a look at that audio tube though, because the way that the power supply was wired before was incorrect. And, obviously killed this field coil here, which is unfortunate, but the speaker is shot anyway. So, even if the field coil were good, we'd have to send it out to be reconed, and there's, another, I think it's about $80–90 to have it reconed, which is, on a certain radio is worth it. This one, the condition of it is just not, I don't think it's worth putting the effort and money into, given the cabinet is not perfect. So, we're going to make it as nice as we can, but it's not going to be like a brand new radio. Sometimes you see something that's in great shape, and then, it's really worth putting the extra effort and time and money into, but this one's just, I don't know. Anyway, so what we're going to do now is we're going to change the rest of the capacitors, and we are going to do a couple other checks, like the tube, a couple more resistors. Want to check those. So I changed these two capacitors, this one over here and this one back here. Everything else is pretty much done. One thing I do want to do is take a look at this speaker and audio transformer. See what I can do about taking that apart and connecting it to a new speaker. And then we'll test it out, make sure it still works. So I reconnected the speaker. This is the new speaker. And then I've got a wire from the output transformer. I'm going to mount this with this screw here. I'm going to mount that in the cabinet. Kept the old field coil wiring on there just in case I do find a speaker for it that has a field coil someday down the road, or maybe someone else does, and they want to put it back. So I left it, and got an antenna connected. It was playing before. I'm going to bring it up on the Variac because who knows what I did to it. I might have made a short with moving some of those wires around, replacing those two capacitors. You never know what you're going to do. Anyway, I am going to go ahead and power it on, and we're going to bring it up and see what happens.
Crude oil on the marketplace, but we'll probably hit $5 a gallon on the West Coast very soon. In California, they're trading summer gasoline, and I think $4 and over are in the cards for most of us in the U.S. I would disagree with some of the hyperbole out there where they're throwing.
Guess we're going to have some expensive gas prices pretty soon.
Gasoline, and so we're learning to belt.
WCBS News Time, 5:38. Traffic and weather together on the 8th, sponsored by Upper East Side Rehabilitation.
We're only on 95 volts. I'm going to bring it up. There we go, 115 volts.
From Francis Lewis Boulevard, which is in that stretch. It's where it crosses of the Cross Island Parkway. From that area between the Whitestone and Frogs Neck bridges right on down. $4 a gallon. Gonna last us 7, he said, in some areas. We'll reassemble the panel next. Jeannie and Boyd are with us on the Tuesday edition.
Okay.
I'm Joe Matthew. This is Bloomberg.
So, radio works. It's been recapped. Out of tolerance resistor has been replaced. So what do we need to do now? Well, got to deal with this dial face. So this has to come out. Got to remove the dial. You can get reproduction dials, but like I mentioned before, the cabinet's really not in very good shape. And, you know, I could just dump unlimited money into this thing and end up with a radio that's not in the best shape, you know. So I think we're not going to do that. I think my goal here, fix the missing piece of plastic behind these dial lights on this side. I put the right bulb in it, so that's good. And I'll put the plastic back in. I think that'll shield some of this from coming through and being so blindingly bright. Definitely got to clean up the glass, so that's not a big deal. Probably should check the tubes. I don't think I've done that yet. I honestly can't remember. It's been a while since I've worked on this, so I should probably check them. Just make sure. I mean, radio works. It's probably fine. The two that I'd be worried about are the rectifier and the output tube, so I can check those, make sure that there's obviously nothing wrong with it. And then we'll put it back together once I get this dial sorted out. I managed to pull the dial cover off. That's this dial itself. So you can see here what happens to these inserts and why you have to replace them. So we got one that's damaged and one that's missing. So I need to replace those. I could take this all apart and clean this up better. I don't know how far I want to go with it. I don't want to restring this. It's just the last thing I want to do. So I think that's out. What I might do is just spray something in here just to kind of clean it up a little, and that's about it. Okay, so I replaced the glass here. I cleaned it, cleaned the dial, took it all apart, cleaned inside, and put it all back. What I don't have here is the material to make these, so I have to find something. I usually use the inside of a like a water jug or something similar to that. I trace it and I cut it. Then the cabinet. The cabinet may be a spring project. Well, it's going to have to be a spring project because we're about to get a bunch of snow in a couple days, and it's impossible to refinish a cabinet if it's 20 degrees and snowing. So these are the way that I make these little cutouts. I just trace them onto a piece of plastic milk jug or water or whatever, and then I just cut them out. So I do the other one now. Okay, so I just cleaned off these pieces with rubbing alcohol, and then I'll put them in.